This is just awful. The Tampa Bay Rays might look to relocate the franchise after their new stadium plans are looking like they're gonna fall through. The talk of a new ballpark in St. Pete has been over a decade in the making. The Rays, who have long since suffered from a fairly empty and decaying Tropicana Field, were ecstatic to finally have a new ballpark in a city they knew they could call home. As for years, there had already been talks of the Rays relocating, perhaps Tampa or Orlando in Florida, maybe elsewhere. There was a time where serious discussions were happening to have the Rays split half their home games in Montreal. But now, those relocation talks are hotter than almost ever before, as the Pinellas County Commission seemed prepared to let the $1.3 billion stadium plans die, with much of the issue stemming from Hurricane Milton and Helene that hit St. Pete just over a month ago, wreaking havoc on the community and, of course, laying waste and over $50 million in damage to Tropicana Field. Now, the Rays had already gotten the principle of the stadium construction plans completed earlier this year, but they still need the City Council and the County Commission of Pinellas County to vote and approve bonds that would help pay for the project. The City Council and County Commission's bonds add up to $600 million, or about half the money the Rays would need to complete their new ballpark. Muddying the waters more, this Rays stadium funding also includes a $100 million loan from Major League Baseball, in which the Rays would need to have $700 million of its $1.3 billion funding set, approved, and in place in order to actually get that money from MLB. So while the Rays had everything seemingly in order in July when the stadium plans were announced, every party in agreement and the construction of the new park ready to come as soon as possible in order to open the doors for the 2028 season, the Rays now find themselves in a mad dash to get approval of funding, as they've already missed important deadlines that could see the construction of the stadium become more expensive and potentially kill the entire project. Pinellas City Council and its county commission postponed voting for the fund's approval in October, in the wake of the two tropical storms' aftermath. And now, since the two parties' delays have surpassed the November 5th election, the entire $600 million deal is being looked over again and reconsidered. And now it seems the county may be against funding the stadium. And it looks like at least part of the reason may be Chris Latvala, a commissioner for Pinellas County, disapproving the Rays choosing Steinbrenner Field in Tampa as their temporary home for 2025 over Baycare Ballpark in Clearwater, Florida, which is a part of Pinellas County, which honestly I think is absolutely ridiculous for that to be a reason to hold up this deal. Steinbrenner Field is simply more prepared for Major League games than Clearwater's Baycare Ballpark, and it would just cost more money to outfit Baycare for these games to get approval by Major League Baseball's Player Association. Steinbrenner has more seats for the Rays to attempt to pull in some sort of gate revenue. It is just the better choice out of the two for what's supposed to be a one-year home for the Rays. I mean, seriously, this Rays stadium would have them stay put in Pinellas County for the next 3 decades. And they're getting all up in arms about one temporary season? It's not ideal for any MLB team to have to play in a spring training stadium, especially in Florida. Being a ballpark in that state without a roof, there's no doubt Rays games will frequently get interrupted due to rain, causing delays mid-game, postponing games, and potentially canceling games should the schedule get short enough towards the end of the season. Now, the other major holdup, of course, has been the destruction caused by the hurricanes. Naturally, that should take up the county's attention over a baseball stadium, hence the postponing of the voting of the bonds, which is the whole reason we're in this situation. But an important distinction here is that the money tied to those bonds can't be used to remedy most of the damages of Milton and Helene, as they are tourist development council funds, and they're not able to be used on things such as rebuilding homes and businesses or paving roads. However, I have seen people discuss the potential of that money instead going towards repairing public beaches in the county. The bottom line here is the Rays are in trouble. It's almost impossible for the new ballpark to be ready by the projected 2028 calendar year now, which would cause construction costs to increase beyond what was expected. But again, that might not even matter, as Pinellas County seems to be fully prepared to let the entire deal fall through, leaving the Rays without half the funds necessary for the $1.3 billion stadium. And to make matters worse, Tropicana Field is in a far worse spot than people initially thought, as the repair costs are expected to greatly exceed the original $56 million estimate. And the city's insurance policy will only pay for $25 million of whatever those costs end up being. It seems very unlikely that the city of St. Petersburg will want to spend the money to repair the Trop, given the stadium is set to be demolished in just a few years, and there being so many other renovations and repairs needed due to the destruction of the hurricanes requiring the city's attention and their money. So it's like this. The Rays are likely going to lose their new stadium deal, and Tropicana likely will not be repaired. It would not surprise me one bit if the Rays are playing somewhere else in just a few years' time.